In today's Inpatient Audit Files case, we'll review a commonly missed coding opportunity involving tPA administration for stroke and TIA patients, one that can significantly impact DRG assignment when it's overlooked. My name is Claire, and I'm an inpatient coding auditor and educator. In my coding tips and tricks videos, you'll discover valuable insights to help sharpen your medical coding skills and code with confidence. If that sounds like something that would be helpful to you, please consider subscribing so that you can be notified whenever I release new content. tPA, or tissue plasminogen activator, is a thrombolytic medication used to treat acute ischemic stroke. It's often referred to as a clot buster because it works by dissolving the blood clot that is blocking blood flow to the brain during an acute ischemic stroke. Because stroke treatment is time sensitive, tPA is typically administered in the emergency department within a few hours of symptom onset for eligible patients. When reviewing a record, you may not always see the term tPA documented. Alternatively, look for medication names such as alteplase, activase, tenecteplase, TNK, or TNKs. Being familiar with these alternative names can help ensure the administration of this medication isn't overlooked during code assignment. From a coding perspective, this is important because unlike most medication administrations, tPA administration can impact DRG assignment. So always look for documentation that this medication was given whenever you're coding a stroke or TIA admission. Let's look at a real audit example. This patient was admitted with an acute ischemic stroke after presenting with right-sided weakness, speech difficulty, and a severe headache. During the audit, we identified that thrombolytic administration had been documented throughout the record, but the corresponding ICD-10 PCS code had not been reported. As a result, the case grouped to an incorrect DRG. When reviewing the documentation, we found that there were several references to tenecteplase or TNK. The emergency department documentation shows that TNKs was administered intravenously. The history and physical notes that the patient received TNK after consultation with neurology and that the patient's symptoms began improving afterward. The neurology consult also references TNK administration in the emergency department and includes post-thrombolytic monitoring instructions. Finally, the medication administration record, or MAR, confirms that the medication was given. After identifying the missed thrombolytic administration, the PCS code was added and the case regrouped to the correct DRG. One of the key takeaways from this audit finding is that documentation supporting tPA administration may appear in multiple locations throughout the chart. So when reviewing stroke and TIA cases, make it a habit to look for documentation supporting tPA administration and verify that it was given by checking the medication administration record. We've looked at a case where a thrombolytic administration was missed at the facility that administered the medication. Now let's talk about a slightly different scenario that can also impact code assignment and DRG grouping. What happens when a patient is started on tPA at one hospital and is then transferred to another facility with the infusion of tPA still ongoing during the transport and upon arrival at the receiving facility? In these situations, the most important question is, where was the medication started? If the thrombolytic was initiated at your facility, report the ICD-10 PCS code for the administration. However, if the medication was started at another facility before transfer, the receiving hospital does not code the thrombolytic administration. Instead, the receiving facility assigns Z9282 status post administration of tPA in a different facility within the last 24 hours prior to admission. This guidance comes from Coding Clinic, and it applies even when the infusion is still running during transport or upon arrival at the receiving facility. Because the receiving facility did not initiate the new infusion, the administration is only coded by the hospital that started the medication. A simple way to remember this is the facility that starts the tPA codes the PCS code for the administration. The receiving facility reports Z9282. Let's also take a look at the potential DRG impact. For the facility that administered the medication, reporting the PCS code for the thrombolytic administration results in DRG assignment potentially of 063. If that administration is missed, the case will group to a lower weighted stroke DRG. For the receiving facility, Z9282 is assigned rather than the PCS code to capture that the patient received thrombolytic therapy at another hospital within the previous 24 hours, and when applicable, it can also affect DRG assignment. In the example shown here, both the thrombolytic administration code and Z9282 result in DRG movement for each hospital when they're correctly reported. So whenever you're reviewing a stroke or TIA transfer, be sure to determine where the thrombolytic was administered. That one detail will tell you whether to report the procedure code or to report Z9282. Finally, let's review the key points that can help you avoid this coding error. Whenever you're coding a stroke or TIA admission, be sure to look for documentation that tPA was administered. Remember that the medication may be documented under a variety of names, including alteplase, activase, tenecteplase, TNK, or TNCase. Verify administration in the medication administration record. If the medication administration was started at your facility, report the appropriate ICD-10 PCS code for the thrombolytic administration. If the medication administration was started at another facility and then they were transferred to your facility, do not code the administration at the receiving hospital. Instead, assign Z9282 status post administration of tPA in a different facility within the last 24 hours prior to admission. And finally, remember that both thrombolytic administration and Z9282 can potentially affect DRG assignment when stroke or TIA is the principal diagnosis. Taking a few extra moments to both look for the medication and verify where it was administered can help ensure accurate code assignment, correct DRG grouping, and better audit outcomes. So that's it for today's quick tip. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if there's any topics that you would like me to cover in the future, just leave a comment below and I'll add them to my list. If you'd like a PDF of this presentation, check the membership link in the description. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy coding!